So the final question on the paper was to describe the chemical reactions involved in the conversion of polymers to monomers and monomers to polymers, and give 2 named examples when you are describing this. So you are describing condensation reactions and hydrolysis reactions, and you are using specific examples. So on the mark scheme, they wanted you to describe a condensation reaction which would join monomers together, and it would form a bond and release water. So you do need all of those points. So if you have described those, for example, you could describe that the amino acids would join together to form a polypeptide or a protein, and it would form a peptide bond and release water. That would get you marking point 1. You are using a suitable example, which would give you marking point 3, and you are referring to a correct bond, which would be marking point 5. You could also use glucose combining to form starch or glycogen or cellulose, but you must specify which glucose. So alpha glucose forming starch or glycogen, and beta glucose forming cellulose, and in which case you would be describing the glycosidic bond forming, but you must have and releases the water. For the hydrolysis reaction, this will then break a bond between the monomers, and it would use water. So again, you could say that starch was broken down by the glycosidic bonds being broken, releasing the monomers of alpha glucose, and it is using water. It is important we use polymers when we are describing these, and not just monosaccharides, or the idea of monosaccharides and forming disaccharides, or the amino acids joining together to form a dipeptide. We must be specific about our polymers. But if neither specific carbohydrate example is given, then they will allow the idea of glucose and a polysaccharide. They are rejecting any reference to triglycerides or the idea of ester bonds.